right, go ahead, go for it.
Good morning, and welcome to First Presbyterian Church, Elizabethton. This morning's service is recorded and live stream broadcast on our church's YouTube channel, which can be found at fpcelizabethton.org.
In the name of the Christ who teaches us, in the name of the Spirit who journeys alongside us throughout our lives, welcome home, children of God. Peace be with you. Good morning and welcome to First Presbyterian Church this morning as we gather together as God's people in God's name. It is wonderful to be here this morning. I'm delighted to have you all here, whether you're joining us here in person or online. Thank you for being a part of this worship service. If you are online, would you please just jump on the YouTube chat and sign your name? Let us know you're there. If you're here, there's some blue friendship registers on the inside aisles. If you would please just share your name on that. The reason we just ask everybody to sign in is because every Sunday we add up everybody who's worshiping online and in person together and give $1 to a different local or international ministry for everybody in worship. Today is the first Sunday of the month, so the recipient of today's Everyone Counts is Loaves and Fishes. It's a ministry here in Carter County that provides hot meals to residents throughout the county who are in need. So not only are you helping to give $1 for every one of you in here is giving $1 to that Loaves and Fishes ministry, but on the second Friday of each month, we also provide casseroles to that. That's this Friday. Julia, how are we looking on casseroles? Okay, so if you're baking one of the ones that's in the freezer, remember to take it home today so you can bring it back hot and ready to serve on Friday. And we don't need any more at this point, or we'll... Fantastic. So thank you all for signing up for that. If you want to make a casserole, mark next month and get on the list. But it's wonderful, a wonderful ministry. Our church joins in with other communities throughout Carter County. So thanks for your support of that. If you are an officer of the month, elders and deacons, y'all sign up throughout the year to kind of be shepherds of the congregation throughout the month. There is a new sheet in the back with your checklist on it. It is redone, so please take a moment and look at that. Even if you've been officer of the month before, there's some new stuff on there, some stuff taken off. Nice new colored sheets in the back, so just make note of that. Two things going on next Sunday I want to highlight for you. One is it is the Sunday closest to Darwin's birthday, which means for us and for churches throughout the country that celebrate Science and Faith Sunday, we'll celebrate that next Sunday. Downstairs, an adult forum. David's got a program planned that is going to include some excerpts from Julie Wade's lectures on evolution. Fantastic. And upstairs, we're going to celebrate Science and Faith Sunday in our worship services we do on the Sunday closest to Darwin's birthday every year. So just mark your calendars for that special Sunday next week. The other thing is next Sunday at 9:30, from 9:30 to 10:30, in my study, which is kind of right over here through this door into the rack, we're just going to have coffee for anybody who wants to learn more about this church, this congregation. Just kind of a welcome to FPCE, ask questions. We'll share a little bit about who we are, what we do and things. It's just kind of a get to know you time. I'll have coffee and donuts back there. So if you are thinking about joining on our joining Sunday on March 10th, come on back. But even if you just have questions and want to be a part of it, come on back. There's no obligation to do anything other than have coffee and get to know us a little better. Aubrey texted me this morning just to share an update that Jim, they're in Costa Rica. Jim has been in the hospital and has gotten on some good antibiotics, is back out of the hospital and recovering, but they appreciate your prayers for them and are very grateful for everybody asking and checking. On Saturday, February the 17th, and we'll get this out in the e-news this week and everything, from 12 to 2, downstairs in Martin Hall, we're going to have a memorial service for Joe Wyckoff. Joe died Thursday morning. Many of you knew her, especially. She was active in our Thursdays with Jesus book group. So Joe passed away Thursday morning. We're going to have a celebration of her life downstairs in Martin Hall from 12 to 2 on Saturday, February the 17th. I mentioned to y'all that coffee's in the narthex. I think, so if you have a coffee order, it's back there. If you want coffee next time I order, every 4 to 6 weeks, I place an order through Frontera de Cristo. It's a border ministry helping to support folks down there on the Mexico border. We buy fair trade, sustainably sourced, ethically paid coffee from them. The proceeds from that help to support the folks down there, and we get good coffee. So if you want to be on that order, just let me know. But if you have already ordered, coffee's in the back. And I think that's everything I have. Have I missed any announcements, joys, concerns? Suzanne, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
On February 22nd, it's a Thursday, we're doing lunch for the Emmanuel Fellowship Chapel. And our theme is going to be salads. And so I've got a clipboard. I'm going to start it up front. You just leave it on the back pew back there.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'm going to repeat that real quick for folks online. We are hosting a luncheon for Emmanuel students right down the road. And here's a sign-up sheet if you'd like to sign up to bring something and show up and eat with them. So anyway, Gary, yeah, what you got?
Just to mention that after the service, there'll be a
Peacemaking committee meeting. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Everybody on the peacemaking team meeting downstairs in the fellowship hall. Right after the service. I think the meeting's at 12:30. So, yeah, thanks, Gary. Other announcements, joys, concerns?
Just want to clarify, Brian, did I hear you correctly that the newcomers
voice
info
from on
meeting
high.
is not on February 25th, right? That was an error in the bulletin, so the newcomers meeting is going to be next Sunday, and the information in the bulletin is wrong. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that correctly.
We should probably fire whoever sent Scott that wrong.
We
date and put
probably
it-
should.
announcements this week, which was me. Thank you. Anything else? Then, yeah, Gregory, sorry.
I just want to make an announcement that last Sunday we had some disturbance from an alarm that went off in the service. But we have learned how to cut that off. Our new G7 has the capability of sending stuff to your phone. So we're learning how to turn our phones off. But mainly, it's good to be in the house.
All right, thanks, Greg. Well, then we continue in our worship this morning, as we do every Sunday, by reminding ourselves of the basic core of the gospel that we celebrate, and that is that God loves us all and all people without condition and without exception, because in God's unique and beautiful diversity, we are all a reflection of God's image. That includes our unique and diverse sexual and gender identities: lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, straight, male, female, non-binary. It includes our diverse racial and ethnic identities: black, brown, white, Asian, indigenous. It includes wherever we are on our spiritual journey: seeking, questioning, belief, non-belief, looking for inspiration and knowledge from science and other diverse religious traditions. And God's love welcomes and includes us, whether we are rich or poor, young or old, able-bodied or disabled, suffering or rejoicing, because God's love welcomes and embraces all people without condition and without exception. Welcome, God's beloved community. We are grateful today for the ancestral Cherokee land on which we're gathered, for the loving waters of the Watauga and the Doe River watersheds that nourish us. And as we continue to worship today, we pledge ourselves to work for truth and reconciliation among all peoples, respect for each other, and for creation in everything we say and do. So let us worship. Lead us in the invitation to worship, but Richard found these things out in the yard, and somebody had asked him about them. If you know what they are, they're yours. Come see me after church. I don't know what they are, but if you recognize them, they're up here.
Please join in the invitation to worship, reading along with the bold print. When as a child you learned to speak, it's not that you didn't know words, it's that from the centuries you knew so many, and it's hard to choose the words that will be your own. From those centuries, we human brains bring with us simple solutions and songs, the river bridges and star charts and song harmonies, all in service to a simple idea, that we can make a house called tomorrow. What we bring, finally, into the new day, every day, is ourselves, and that's all we need to start. That's everything we require to keep going. Look back, only for as long as you must, then go forward into the history you will make. Be good, then better. Write books, cure disease, make us proud, make yourself proud, and those who came before you. When you hear thunder, hear it as their applause. Please join us in Song 305, Come Sing, O Church in Joy.
Comes joy
Places. If you're here or online, send me a new picture for the year if you haven't already so we can update that slideshow. But for those of us here, I invite us to take just a moment and greet one another and share the peace and the joy of being together. Cats.
Oh, yeah. Slightly.
Yeah. Emmeline, you doing well this morning?
My cat. Sorry.
Good morning. Good morning. Yep. I don't want to be loud. Well, no, I meant that really. Okay. This is supposed to be the soft time. So it's our meditation time. So I invite you all to scoot back in your pews and let your shoulders fall off your ears. Try to let them fall backwards, feet on the floor. And softly let your eyes close. I want to invite you today to focus on what you observe. That's a little bit different than thinking about what you observe. Like if the alarm goes off today, you don't say, oh, there's Gregory's phone. It's just, I hear an alarm. You may observe your breathing. Notice how it feels with your weight wherever you are sitting. You might be able to feel the weight of your feet on the floor. Noticing your chest rise and fall. Noticing the stillness that's already there. And when you catch yourself thinking, gently come back to your breath. What do you hear? What do you hear? Every piece, every observation is part of being here right now. For a few breaths before we close, I invite you to let the words, "Love is the answer, love is the way," let them ride on your breath. Love is the answer, love is the way. Notice love surrounding you and filling you. for stillness, for love, for this moment right now. We give thanks. Amen.
Our reading today is a selection from Ruth 1, verses 1 to 18. In the days when judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem in Judah went to live in the country of Moab, he and his wife and 2 sons. The man died, leaving his wife Naomi alone with her 2 sons. These men married wives from Moab. One was of the name Orpah, and the other of the name Ruth. 10 years later, both sons died as well. Naomi set out to return to her homeland, hoping to find relief from the famine. Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me." Then she kissed them, and they wept out loud. And they all wept again. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, Naomi, and set out on her way. But Ruth clung to her. Naomi said, "See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not press me to leave you or to turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die. There I will be buried. May the Lord do thus and so to me, and more as well, if even death parts me from you." When Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more to her.
For the fishermen and James and John, they came with me, and the dance went on.
Dance then, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced on the Sabbath and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a shame. They whipped
Thank you all, Joan, Cody, Emmeline, Megan, for the solos and choir. That was a beautiful anthem. I love that piece. Rebecca, thank you for that meditation. Bobby, thanks for reading this morning. I assume nobody has claimed these, so I don't know. It's just sit up here and be a mystery. Last Sunday, if you all were here, was our annual meeting Sunday. We all gathered in here. Worship looked a lot different. We kind of went through the annual report. We heard from different committees and celebrated stuff that we did together. And even though it's a big task to get all that annual report together and that Sunday worship together, and I'm really glad when it's over. I am. I mean, it's a big job. But I really enjoy working on that report, mostly because it paints a picture of just how much stuff we're able to do when we come together as a church. And I don't mean that just in terms of ticking items off of a list. We did A, B, C, D, and E. But it helps me to realize just how broadly we can and do live out our spirituality together as a church family. Sometimes that takes the form of caring for people, sitting by someone in a hospital room, or bringing food to feed people who are sick or grieving or at a funeral, or just sharing a meal together. Sometimes it's keeping this building in repair so that there's a safe space for our LGBTQ social gathering, or for the AA group that meets here, the exercise class that meets here, all these other community groups that meet here. Sometimes it's just providing and nurturing a safe space and an opportunity to ask questions and explore difficult topics together. Maybe it's advocating for state and national policy changes to protect creation or disenfranchised or targeted groups. We do all of those things and a lot more. And we don't need to go back over everything we talked about last Sunday. If you have not had a chance to read our annual report, I hope you'll do that. There's a QR code and a link in our bulletin. You can pull it up and read it whenever you want to. Not during the sermon, obviously, because you should be paying attention to the guy up here, but some other time, pull that up and read it, like when you're having trouble falling asleep tonight. But mostly, I just want to remind us of how much goes on here in this place in the name of trying to carry out our mission as a progressive Christian community in this place. But I do want to mention one thing this morning that was in our annual report last Sunday. And it was in the pastor's report thing that I wrote, and I didn't have a chance to talk about it last Sunday. But it was something that really caught me off guard as I was putting together that and writing that report. I've been here about 7.5 years now. In that time, we've always had about 150 people on the church roll, like the active membership roll. Give or take 10%. And just so you know what that means, active membership roll in the Presbyterian Church includes everybody who's met with the session, said, I want to join the church, and then shows up to church once a year and or writes a check to the church once a year. That's what active membership means in our denomination. So we've always had about 150 people at our church that meet that specific criteria. And it's not an ideal metric for who we are. It doesn't include folks who are here every Sunday, but for whatever reasons, decided not to join. But roughly speaking, our membership numbers have remained about the same for the 7.5 years I've been here. But, and here's the part that surprised me, during that time, we have said goodbye to 56, actually with Joe now, 57 people. Yeah, it's a lot, right? Some due to deaths, others to just folks who have moved on, moved out of the way, or just moved to a different or no community for any reason. That's 1/3 of the people who were here when I came that are now gone. But in that same time, we have added 48 new people. New folks joining, a couple of new births in our congregation, and that's a lot of change. If you were here before I came, for all of you, that's a lot of faces that are missing, that you are used to seeing. And a lot of new people to welcome and celebrate being a part of this gathering. And speaking of faces, there are some faces that we don't often see or maybe have never seen. on any given Sunday, we have between 20 and 50 people who tune into the online service. Some of you all, I have never met. I share all of that this morning to invite us to consider how we think about our identity as a church and how each of us fits into that. We heard a reading this morning from the story of Ruth. It's frequently read at weddings. Two people come together and commit to journeying together in life. And so Ruth promises to Naomi, "Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God too." It's a pretty good verse to capture the sentiment of the story of Ruth. It is a book about family and place. Ruth lived in a land of Moab, and she was married to an Israelite man. So he had left his homeland of Israel and moved to Moab and married Ruth there. A famine struck that land of Moab, and Ruth's husband died. After his untimely demise, Naomi, Ruth's mother-in-law, who was also widowed, decides to go back to her homeland of Israel, of Bethlehem specifically, because she's trying to find support and food and hopefully some distant family there that can help her. And so Naomi turns to Ruth and says, I'm going to go back to Bethlehem, to my people. You go back to yours because there's nothing for us here. There's no food. And that's when Ruth speaks those words to Naomi that we like to read at weddings, that where you go, we're going to go together. We will be a family even if we aren't related by blood. And the rest of the book of Ruth is about their new life together in Bethlehem. Ruth tells one story of family and place. But it's a story that might resonate with our own experiences of family and place here in this church. I hear a somewhat common story among many of us who call this church our home. And not for all of us for sure, but for many of us who are here, we've had some bad experience with another church in the past. Maybe we didn't fit in because of our sexuality, maybe because of our belief or lack of belief in a particular narrative of Christianity. Maybe we asked questions that were not okay to ask. So maybe it's not a terrible stretch to say that spiritual famine helped bring many of us together here, at least in as much as famine is not getting the nourishment that we need to be healthy, spiritual or otherwise. But here we are all in this place together. Maybe not related by blood, most of us at least, but we are family. And we are committed to journeying together for a while. Anytime we welcome new members, people always ask me, what does it mean to join the Presbyterian Church or join this church? And my answer is always to say that joining this church is not about what you believe or don't believe or believing the right thing or the same thing as everybody. Joining this church is simply committing to journey together for a while, to walk a path together for a while as a family. That's what joining this church is saying, I want to walk with these people, with this family for a while in my life. And that's what Ruth and Naomi do. They commit to journeying together into an unknown future. I got to thinking about Ruth and Naomi as a text for this morning after our meeting last Sunday, our annual meeting, and how we are not the same church that we were 7 or 8 years ago. People have died. People have moved on. New people have joined us. But we are all here because we are committing to journeying together for a time, to walk together and to support each other on our way into an unknown future. And that, I think, that essence right there is what makes this place a home. It's what makes this gathering of people a family. The core of our identity even as a progressive Christian community, is not that we do churchy stuff together. The core of our identity is not all of those things that we wrote. You like that churchy stuff together? I was proud of that phrase when I came up with it last week. It's not all of those things in the annual report that we tick off. Those are good things, and I hope that we are proud to be a part of all of that work, whether we individually take part in it or not. But the relationships that are nurtured here, seeing these faces every week, being with people that you know, who can give you a hug or a handshake and ask how you're doing and actually care about the answer to that question. Working together alongside one another to do all of that stuff that we put in the annual report, that is the core of who we are. Just as it was for the relationship that Ruth and Naomi shared that sustained them for their journey. It was not the things they did, it was that they did it together. Is this a good place to worship on Sunday morning? I thank you, Mary Beth. I love that. Yeah, I was going to say, you get to see a handsome preacher stand up here and give you erudite sermons every week. So obviously it's a great place to worship on Sunday, right? That's why you come, Sarah. Yeah, I can always count on you replying. I mean, I hope it is, and I feel like it is. It is for me. But that's not what makes us a church. What makes us a church is that we are a home and a family who journey together. So I want to offer a couple of words of encouragement to all of us this morning. And first, I'm going to speak to those who are joining us online. If you are online and able to, think about coming here on a Sunday morning. See these friends and family and faces, some of whom you might not have ever met. They're wonderful people. Y'all are. I mean, I'm glad to see you on Sunday. Come be a part of this group. If you are here on Sunday, if you're in here this morning, but you're not sure how to get to know everybody in here a little better and get connected, talk to me after church or talk to Delana. Raise your hand, Delana. This is our, as of like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the new chair of our welcoming committee. Yeah. Look at that, you got an ovation this morning. But it's really all of our jobs to try and help one another get connected and feel welcome and be a part of this family, no matter whether it's the preacher or the welcoming committee chair or what. That's all of our jobs. But we want to help one another find a way to connect on this journey that we are on together. All that other stuff we do, it is wonderful. And it's critical, and I hope it is helping to make our community a better place. But it is ancillary to who we are. The core of who we are is journeying together as a family, being with one another, to love each other, to support each other, and to be a part of all of this that we do together. That's what makes us a church. Blessed be. Amen. So let me invite us to stand, stretch your legs. We're going to sing our doxology together. And as always, if you have an offering to share this morning and want to bring it up front and drop it in the offering plates while we sing, please do. But otherwise, let's just sing together. You'll find the words to the doxology in your bulletin. You can stay standing if you're able. We're going to sing together hymn number 300 in your purple hymnals. They'll know we are Christians by our love. We are one in the Spirit. Yeah, titled both. But yeah. Sorry. So just a second, I'll invite us to gather up around the edge of the sanctuary. Take your bulletins with you so you have the words to the benediction. We'll sing together and join hands if you're comfortable doing that. But my charge to all of us, celebrate this wonderful church family and take joy in journeying together in whatever lies ahead for us this year. It's a great place to be. Let's circle up and bless one another as we head out. Go in peace.